My name is Tam, and this is the oh so marvelous Brandy, and we are here in her amazing Florida garden to talk about growing good food at home. Thank you so much for joining us. Growing Good Food at Home is a series of garden conversations with everyday people that centers growing food for the body and the soul. My first question for you is just about how you became aware of gardening. I know that you have some experience through your grandmothers and other people in your family, so I would love to hear about that.
Okay. So I grew up with two grandmothers, totally different environments. Both had wonderful gardens, big scale, small scale. It was just really something they took pride in and making sure that the area surrounding their home was beautiful.
Yes.
And that's really important for me also. I just want to be, when I walk out my door, I want to be in a space that feels creative, that, lifts my spirits. And I want, when other people visit, for them to feel at home and at peace and a sense of calm when they get here. So that was a big deal for me, and it always has been. You don't have to necessarily worry about having a huge space.
Absolutely.
You can create anywhere.
Yes.
So even when I have been in apartments, I have always had, some of you who may be familiar with me, I have a huge purple pot. That pot has been in apartments with me, and it has been in both of my homes. And it just depends on where I am, what I create with it. Um, I remember I was in Tampa for a little while, and I had that pot on my front porch, and I had neighbors who lived upstairs, but we all shared a common front sitting area together. And they lived there way before me, and once I moved there, I just made sure it was okay with them that I set it up. And she said, please, because I need something, because she was from the islands.
Oh, wonderful. Yes.
And she said, I need something. So I did it in like this whole big, huge tropical pot, because I wanted her to feel like she was in the islands. And she thanked me all the time. All the time. She said, you made me feel home.
Yes.
And I told her, I said, that's all I want. I want people to feel like they are at home.
Yes.
And yeah, so it doesn't matter big or small. Just create an environment that when you step out your door, it brings you up.
Yes.
It lifts you up.
I love that concept of creating a space that lifts you but does the same thing for others.
For other people.
That is wonderful. Yes. And I absolutely think that that comes through on screen, and then also being able to experience the space in person. It definitely does that through all of the ways that you use your shade areas, your sun areas. The color palette is very calming and very relaxing environment, and it just mixes so well with the sounds of nature that are here. I definitely think that you've done a great job in accomplishing that in this space, and it makes so much sense that that's something that you have carried throughout.
Thank you.
Yes.
It was very important for me.
And so when did you actually start your own gardening journey? Was it when you moved in your first apartment, or did you start kind of dabbling in your own thing when you were younger?
So it was more so when I came to the Duval County, Jacksonville area. I started with just a small little pot on my front porch. It wasn't even my big one. I didn't have that one yet. Just something small. It just had like herbs in it. But then as we started to look for property and land and a place to build a house, we built our first house on a corner lot. Had a lot more land than we do here. And I started immediately. I had a garden outside before I had decorated it inside of my house.
Yes, that's
I
right.
had a beautiful garden, and it was fun because I was on the corner, and as you drove into our neighborhood, I was the corner on the first street. And I just felt like I had to make it pow. I had to make it be an entrance.
Yes.
And it became a way of all my neighbors got to know me
Mhm.
because I was the girl who was always outside on the corner, outside in the yard digging and planting, and they watched it grow.
Yes.
And I remember like by that second summer, it was funny because if I was outside, my neighbors were in my yard.
Mhm.
It was so great.
Yes.
We were a brand new community, so we
Mhm.
all kind of had to lean on each other. Nobody was established in life. We were all mostly first time homeowners
Yes.
and so on. So we were all young. We had a bunch of kids, and I had this huge lot on the corner. Kids just played, and it was fun. It was this pretty garden, and that was like my first deep dive.
Yes.
That's my first like where I had to, cause y'all know new houses nowadays they come with one tree, y'all. We had
That's
one river
right.
birch, but by the time I left that house, there was like 8 trees.
Mhm.
It was like 8 trees, and I remember when we got ready to sell, the wife told me, she said, the yard, the trees, and the closet. She
Mhm.
was like, I knew it was my house.
Yes.
I knew it was my house. She said, I just felt, happy
Yeah.
pulling up all the
Mhm.
colors and everything. And it was a great place. It was a great place. And it was fun for a new homeowner and a first time homeowner to have that much room to play.
Yes. And beautiful to be able to leave something for the next people.
Hmm.
And then I'm sure to have neighbors that recounted those stories to them of how, the space came to be
Hmm.
like it was. That's wonderful.
Hmm.
And I really love what you pointed out about starting with the herb garden in your first space
My first
and
space.
how that was in an apartment.
Hmm.
And that for me, I think is really important for people to understand.
For people who are intimidated by it, I say herbs are a wonderful place to start.
Yes,
They will build
absolutely.
up your confidence
Mhm.
because they're so hard to kill.
Mhm.
They literally boost your confidence, and as you go, you just add slowly.
Absolutely.
Just add slowly
Mhm.
until you get a hang of it and read.
Yes,
There's so much information out there to help you, to teach you
that's
what you
true.
should and shouldn't be doing,
Absolutely.
and then the rest of it comes with practice.
Yeah.
The rest of it comes.
Your intuition builds. Your
Hmm.
knowledge of the space that you're using expands as you go along, and it really does
It
come
does.
together.
It comes together.
Mhm.
It comes together.
Absolutely.
I've been doing this for, let's see, my oldest is 24, so I don't know, 20 years, and I still kill stuff, y'all.
Yeah. Me too.
It's a drowned
All the
plant in this
time.
pot.
Me too.
I
All
kill
the
stuff.
time.
I kill stuff, and it's
Mhm.
okay. I swipe it onto the side and I go buy me a new one like
Yes.
it's never happened. We
There
didn't
you
even
go.
see that.
What happened? Who,
Mhm.
me?
Who?
Oh no,
No,
we good.
we good. Mhm.
Absolutely. Yep, and that's a part of the growing experience. Yes. It's trial and error. I like to say that.
Yep.
We dig things up, spaces up, and plant things, and we don't know what's going to happen sometimes. We
Exactly.
just have to hope for the best sometimes. Hope that our knowledge is sufficient. Hope that the space that we selected works. And then if it doesn't, we dig it up and we move it,
Simple as
or we
that.
learn from the mistakes that we made and we try again.
Mhm.
And that's so valuable.
Yep. It's as
Um,
simple as that.
hmm
It's as simple as that. I don't
Absolutely.
take anything at heart. I
Yeah,
just keep growing.
absolutely.
In life
Yes.
too.
Yes, that's so true,
In
right?
life too. Yeah.
And really, I think that the gardening space gives you an opportunity to grow in the way that you handle things in life.
Isn't that true?
You find so much clarity
Mhm.
through your experience in the garden.
Yep. You
Yeah,
do. You do.
yes. I want to talk to you about the food that you grow as well.
Mhm.
And I have so many people that I communicate with that are in my zone, zone 7, and cooler zones who focus the main portion of their growing in the summertime.
Mhm.
But I know for you, because we're here in Florida and the climate is different here,
Mhm.
that you tend to lean into the fall for doing your growing. And I want to talk a little bit about that and the importance of making sure you understand your growing zone, and also even the climate that's occurring just in your own
In your
yard.
microclimates, correct.
Yes, and how that informs the decisions of what you plant as far as your food and when you do that.
Okay. So I am not a fighter. I'm a lover, right?
Yeah. Yes.
And I want things to be a lot simpler. So I try to go with the flow of the seasons. I don't
Mm-hmm.
want to fight against the seasons. In Florida, it is hot, it is humid,
Mm-hmm.
and it rains pretty much daily. Um, and so you have a lot of wet, humid air.
Yeah.
You get a lot of disease.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're trying to grow crops that there's gonna be disease. This is what I call our bug season. So you're gonna be fighting bugs. And if you're growing food, you want to have as less input as far as chemicals and or anything that you're herbicides in it. I don't want to do that.
Right.
Because this is the food that I'm going to be nourishing my body with. I give it to
Mm-hmm.
my pets. I give it to my kids. I don't want to be trying to fight it.
Yes.
So this is my break. Where people take breaks in winter, I take breaks in summer.
Yes.
I've learned a lot of our farms actually take breaks in summer also. So in the summer, I will grow things like peas. I'll do runner beans because they don't have I don't have problems with those.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not. Every now and then, I might leave a tomato in the ground because out of habit,
Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
I'm not growing tomatoes right now. Um, I used to do the whole leave one squash plant in the ground, but I no longer leave a squash plant in the ground because it just invites in vine borers. And then
Mm-hmm.
this is when they would dig down and do their whole little thing, and I don't want them in my soil, so I
Right.
don't even carry vines through the summer anymore. I just
Yes.
don't. Um, you can do egg now. This is eggplant season, so you won't have problems with eggplants. I'll do peas, like I said, snap not peas, sorry, beans. I'll do runner beans and
Mm-hmm.
those kind of things. But I this is not my season,
Yeah.
and I'm okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay with that. This is where I lean on my farmers
Yes.
and the people who grow locally or who have greenhouses and can grow. They need our support.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and this is when they're in their prime.
Yes.
So, and I want to support that community. I don't actually grow as much food as I used to. Now, wintertime is my season.
Yes.
Winter is my season. It's a glorious time to grow in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
I usually get my tomatoes out the first week of March.
Mm-hmm.
I've already been growing them on in my garage under grow lights. I get them on out here, and then we proceed to go on. And by May, I'm picking my tomatoes and pulling my plants out,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm done.
Yes.
And I'm done. Strawberries are a winter crop for us,
Mm-hmm.
whereas you guys are picking. My strawberry plants are resting right now.
Right. Yes.
They're a
Mm-hmm.
cold crop for us.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I do like eggplant in the summertime, and God, that is glorious. um, I do all my salads and stuff during the winter months.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, you get your broccoli and your cabbages. Like, I love seeing people who are in northern climates. They have right now broccoli, and I'm just like, good
Yeah.
Lord.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even starting my broccoli
Right.
starch yet because it's still so warm here.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not the time.
Yes.
Yeah, so you just learn your seasons. And I was talking to a young lady the other day. I think her name is I was talking to Jasmine about this, and I was telling her that she was complaining about the vine borers, and I was saying, you're out of season.
Mm-hmm.
We put those in February. We protect them from any frost and cold,
Mm-hmm.
and you pick your plants by May, and those are coming out of the ground in Florida.
Yes.
Those are coming out of the
Absolutely.
ground in Florida. And I know I learned a lot just from trial and error, but I also use like our university extensions. They have so much written information
Yes.
out there.
Exactly.
It is free and it is yours to read and
Mm-hmm.
learn. And I use their guides on what to grow, what plants, what crops work well in Florida.
Yes.
I use their guides
Mm-hmm.
because they are experts. They are in college. This is what they're learning. This is what they write about.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody better
Yes.
to learn from them.
I absolutely agree with that. What have you gained from gardening aside from what's helped you, your physical body,
Mm-hmm.
what has helped your spirit, your mind? Is there anything specific that you've gotten from your garden experience?
Absolutely. Um, so I lost my grandmother Mabel when I was a teenager, and I have always said I would have that kind of garden that, and I speak on this a lot, how the way she welcomed people
Mm-hmm.
into her house, the way she fed
Yes.
people. I'm not a cook, so I can't welcome you in my house with no food. But I can bring you on into this here garden, and I have found a way that my soul can feed other people.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
She knew her connection
That's
to
powerful.
helping people
Mm.
was through a plate.
Yes.
I know that my way is I'm going to send you home with bulbs. I'm going to send you home with plants.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to send you home with cuttings. I'm going to walk you around. And I am aggressive. Smell this. Touch this.
Yes.
Hold this
I
in your
love
hands.
that.
And
Yes.
that's just me. Because I want to touch. I want to do, and I
Mm-hmm.
want people to have that experience.
Yes.
My soul connects to other people.
Mm.
My soul helps other people by
Yes.
being in this space. That's my way. Like, I know people think all the time you got to be able to get riches. We was poor. My
Mm-hmm.
grandmother didn't have no riches for anybody,
Mm-hmm.
but nobody was hungry around her
Yes. Mm.
because her soul was going to give you a plate.
Yes.
My soul can only walk you around this place. I can listen to you in this garden. I can talk to you in this
Mm-hmm.
garden. I can touch on your sensories in this garden. And for me, that's my soul connecting to
Mm.
other people.
Oh, that's, I really like that. From soil to
Hmm.
soul to soul.
Hmm.
Mm.
It's my
That's
way of
powerful.
sharing. Hmm.
Yes. Oh, yeah. That is very
That's
powerful.
my
I
way.
love that.
That's my way.
I really love that. Yes. Thank you
That's
so much for sharing
my,
that.
you're
That is
welcome.
beautiful. Yes, I really love that. I know you have sons,
Hmm.
and I know that they've helped you a lot
Hmm.
in cultivating this space. And what is it that you think that they've gained from having a mother who gardens and grows in this way? Do you see some of the experience that you had with your grandmothers through their times that they have with you in the garden?
Absolutely. So Holden is funny. He's my youngest, and he was a little bit more into it as a younger kid.
Mm-hmm.
He's in that phase now where he's preteen, and he's not as interested.
Yes.
But what he does like is the only part that he will do with me now is he'll come out and he'll help me pick flowers for arrangements.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's it. He likes houseplants, and he says that that's his niche that he wants to get into. So we are going to work
Mm.
on that because I am a houseplant killer.
So am I. Very
Now,
much so.
I took you guys, but and because you've been a friend for many, many years, and you've gotten to know my kids through the internet from the time they were boys, and one is an absolutely grown man now
Yes.
with
Yes, they
his
have grown.
yeah, with his own home. Okay,
Yes.
so it was funny because him and his girlfriend will come here and they'll walk around and they're so cute because they actually come here to pick their own arrangements for
Oh,
their apartment.
wow. I love
Right.
that.
So they'll come and they'll
Mm.
pick stuff and she does pottery. So they like to do flowers so that they have flowers inside of her pottery.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll come here and they do that. But then the bug must have really hit both of them because when you go to their apartment now, they have filled their balcony, as you
With
saw,
plants.
with beautiful plants.
Yes.
They've created this whole little sitting area. They've got hanging pots with stuff trailing and going on. And I think it probably settled him down and made him feel like he's at home because they live at the beach.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't live at the beach that's close to me. They moved to the beach that's an hour away.
Mm-hmm.
and that's a little drive.
Yeah.
I'm in the country and they're in town. And yeah, it's a pleasure to see that little niche still stuck with him. That he's
Yes.
carried it there, and that his girlfriend enjoys it. That is something they do as young people, and they're both. So she teaches special needs kids, and she also is like their art pottery
Mm-hmm.
teacher. She works with a special group, and I think
That's
that's so
wonderful.
awesome,
Just really awesome.
but can be stressful.
Mm-hmm.
And then she works another job, and she's also a double degree full time student.
Wow. Yes. Yes.
And
A woman on the
a
move.
woman on the move. And then my son is he's already graduated, but he just started his anesthesia program, and he also works full time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I think that them having something to come home, sit down on the balcony as two hard working college student adults, and to be able to unwind,
Yes.
to be able to unwind. I've always told them, if you can choose something beautiful to look at, and they did. They chose an apartment where they look out at this great big pretty lake with
Mm-hmm.
fountains and
Yes. Their
all
view is
kind of native
beautiful.
grasses in it. It's very beautiful and
Mm-hmm.
peaceful. So I think that, I'm rubbed off a little bit, and to see
Yes.
her catching the bug too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing my job.
Now that we've had a chance to talk about how you got to this point in your
Hmm.
gardening journey, I would like to ask you about your dreams or hopes for where you want to see either this garden go or a future garden space. Is there anything that you really just would like to see come alive in your future garden?
Absolutely. And I think this may be a shocker, but it is just me and my younger son now. And I am actually ready to downsize. In house size, I know it is a shocker.
That is a shocker.
It is a
Okay.
shocker. I am ready to downsize. I am ready for a bungalow or a cottage, and I actually would like a historical home.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's a challenge of finding a balance of historical home with not too much land,
Mm-hmm.
but not too little.
Yes.
And I'm okay with downsizing the garden just a smidge.
Okay. Okay.
Just a smidge. I'm ready for no grass.
Mm-hmm.
The other challenge is finding a historical home where you have light.
Yes.
Because they're historical, you usually get a lot of, tree growth, and you're in an older neighborhood, and so I'm gonna need balance because I cannot be in a space where I cannot have roses and gladiolas. I can't. I need both.
That's right.
So I feel like when the time comes and the space is right and everything is ready to work out, I am mentally and physically prepared
Mm-hmm.
for that next change.
Yes.
I am, which is a shocker. I know, because everybody's like, "Oh my God, your house," and people know me for my garden and
Mm-hmm.
my house, my interiors. But I am ready to downsize. I am.
That I'm very surprised by that,
Hmm.
but also excited at the opportunity to see how you cultivate a smaller space.
Hmm.
I'm sure that you will bring the same feelings along with a good amount of drama in the way that you display everything and have the garden laid out. I'm sure that it will still be as fabulous
Thank you.
even in a smaller area. So,
Thank
look,
you.
I dream of seeing that space. The last thing that I would like to ask you about is what your favorite garden memory has been. And that could be in any space that you've been in, whether it's here, something from your childhood, or just a random moment in a park. What has been one of your favorite garden memories?
It's so weird. It's not necessarily just one thing. It's the progression, the lead up.
Mm-hmm.
So, my dad's mother, she owned property in the county above ours that we grew up in, and she owned a nice little chunk of land, had a great house, um, most beautiful azaleas ever, big, huge, tall pine trees, and they were so old. And we had cows and chickens and a barn, and it was just the whole thing and how it came together.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't necessarily just when I got in there, it was from the moment we got in the car
Mm-hmm.
and we knew we were going to be going up 41 from my house that I grew up in. We knew we were going to go up 41, Highway 41. Um, to the time we turned off County Line Road,
Mm.
to the time we got to Galveston, as soon as we got there, it was just like you pulled up and there was a gate and you had to wait. You listen, honey, she had German Shepherds. You had to wait till she gave that command and you could open the gate.
Mm-hmm.
And
Come
we
on,
would
Grandma.
drive on
Yes.
down. You drive on down. And I tell my cousins this all the time. Her garage had a smell.
Mm-hmm.
Probably from like the stuff she canned and was freezing. There were freezers out there, and the feed for the dogs and stuff in there. But it was just this. I don't know how to explain it.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as I hit that garage door, I
Mm-hmm.
could smell, and I knew I was there.
Yeah.
And then I would walk right, and it was the same thing every time. I would walk right through, say hey to everybody, and travel all the way back and go to her solarium.
Mm.
We had a solarium on the back of the house that had a jacuzzi, and she had what do you call? I kill them all the time. All the agaves
Oh, yes.
and the
Beautiful.
sedums and the
Yes.
so the steps leading up to the hot tub was covered in like agaves and sedums and all the plants that I killed, cactus, all those. And she had all different types of aloes, varieties of aloes, and it was just really pretty. And as a kid, and this is probably where my love for pottery comes from.
Mm-hmm.
I would pick up all the little pottery pots, and I love the plants inside of them, but I would just look at all the little pots.
Yes.
Which is why you guys
Yes.
here now walking around
And doing
inside
the
my
same
house,
thing.
and I have little pottery pieces that I've collected
Mm-hmm.
from artisans all over my house. But yeah, that's like my memory. It was more of a journey.
Yes.
From the time we were getting in the car and I knew we were going to be going up that highway. You know how when you're a kid and you go up the same highway all the time, you hit markers. Like I know the McDonald's is on Highway 41. And, I mean, we had McDonald's by our house, but that McDonald's was special because it was on the way to my grandma's house. And yeah, it was that solarium. I've always said if I could have just a little greenhouse.
Yeah.
Just a little greenhouse. But yeah, that solarium did it for me. It was everything. It was everything.
That sounds like a very beautiful moment and memory to have. I'm sure every time it was like such a treat to be back in that space and to see all those things she was growing. And it definitely sounds like she put a lot of care into laying out that space, and so it's no surprise that you would be drawn to it. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing about how you grow good food, both for the body and for the soul. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so